It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. It's the Wrestling Inc. podcast coming at you in whatever form you prefer. Live on the video on the archive, audio for your listening pleasure. It's all good, baby. It is right here with the three of us on a Wednesday night. I am Justin LaBar alongside former WWE referee of over 20 years, many a Mania matches under his belt, and even even crossed the picket line once upon a time. He is the legendary Jimmy Korderas. And then down south in Puerto Rico, where a lot of action's happening this week, she is our NYC Demon Diva, Issa. Issa, how are you tonight?
I'm super excited for this weekend.
I hope your gas tank's on is full, because I know you're gonna have a busy couple of days coming up here with SmackDown and then Backlash.
Yeah, we're working on refilling it. We'll do some of that tomorrow.
There you go. Jimmy Korderas, north of the border. How are you this evening, sir?
Well, I was good until you had to remind me about that picket crossing thing, and I got my butt handed to me at the pay-per-view. But other than that, I'm good.
All because you had to go out and get married.
Yeah. How dare I? And you know what? By the way, Mike Chioda, I still owe you a few receipts. Anyways.
Ooh.
Well, we got to get you two in a ring to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get you two in a ring. I think between Issa and I, we have some rings at our disposal. I think we can try to make that happen.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
If you smell what the ref is cooking.
And Chimmel can ring announce.
Ah, yes.
Chimmel can ring announce. Shout out to everybody here in the live chat. We appreciate you. Still see some people filing in here as we are 10:15 Eastern time here on this Wednesday night. Appreciate all of you. And if you want to be part of the live chat, it's really cool. Not only is it fun to be part of as we're recording this right now, but the link goes out a few hours earlier for this particular YouTube for the YouTube, and people kind of sit on there and talk as they're watching Dynamite. It's a little bit of a watch along party as they get ready for us to come on. And of course, if you're checking us out after the fact, that is also appreciated as well. If it works better with your schedule, we hope we're entertaining you wherever in the world you are, whatever you are doing. Always drop us a line. At Justin Barr, at NYC Demon Diva with a 1, and at Jimmy Korderas. Let us know. Tweet us. What are you doing when you're checking out this podcast? Where are you? How are we getting you through your day and week? Love to hear it. Before we get into Dynamite tonight, let's touch on a few news items. These can be found along with much, much more on WrestlingInc.com, being updated 24/7 around the clock. Trinity Fatu, many know her better as Naomi, finally breaks her silence. She went on Busted Open and breaks her silence about what really went down. We know she's not with WWE anymore after a long amid speculation. Of course, if you just need a refresher, May 16th last year, 2022, almost exactly a year now, her and Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, they had walked out backstage during Raw. No storyline, no work here. Reportedly not happy, and they walked out and had not been seen in WWE World since. And Trinity breaks her silence. Here's just a little bit of what she had to say to my buddies over at Busted Open Radio. She said, I was really going through a lot. It just felt very stagnant, and I wasn't happy. Ultimately, I left that day because of the way I was talked to and handled. Everything just kind of broke me that day. It had nothing to do with anything else, anybody else, but that was just it. I had to. And to go through the backlash, the negativity, and the lies, and the rumors, and to also just feel lost, it broke me. It was probably the lowest I ever felt in my life, but going through that, it made me reset and face it head on and figure out how to learn from this experience, grow from it, and just find myself again. So Issa, I'll start with you. We've all speculated for last year. We've heard a lot of different versions of what went down that night on Raw. Does this bring any clarity, or is this pretty much what you expected her to say?
I think it's what I expected her to say. I think it was a very good response. I think it doesn't burn any bridges. I think it does give us a little something. I'm just happy that she's doing something that makes her happy. She seems to be very happy to be part of Impact. I saw her in ring, and it doesn't look like she's missed a beat inside the square circle. So I'm just very happy for her. And my own personal opinion, outside of what we do here, she doesn't owe an explanation to anybody in regards to what she did. So we're even lucky that she's even talking.
Yeah, Jimmy, like Issa said, she kind of, she talked about her frustrations and the emotions she was feeling, but yeah, she didn't slam and rip the company. And mind you, look, on the air, and obviously he was instructed to, of course, I believe it was Michael Cole. You know, was on the air, or I think it was Michael Cole. You know, they dropped the ball. You know, they dropped the ball. They went home, or you know, kind of had to you know, whatever. But you know, she was careful in her words, and let's not also forget her husband still works there and is in a very prominent position as talent right now, as of course being Jimmy Uso. So your thoughts to Trinity Fatu's remarks?
Well, to be honest with you, if that's the reason why she left, and you know, not everybody could be happy where they are working, regardless of the situation. So if she wasn't happy, the best thing for her, not only for mind, her body, her health, all over, to feel good, she felt she had to leave, then that was the right choice for her. Especially now that she said that she had to get away, kind of grow a little bit, and become the person she is now. And then, like you said, Justin, she didn't really burn any bridges. So if that time does come where she has to come back, whether it was because she didn't want to put any spotlight on her husband who still works there, regardless, she did it in a professional manner as opposed to sounding like how do I put this nicely? Sounding like the owner of a company who is upset with somebody else and has to sound like a Twitter, you know,
Twitter tough guy.
Twitter, not tough guy, Twitter ranter.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she did it in a professional manner. She sounded professional, and if she's happy what she's doing right now, that's the main thing.
Yeah, happiness, sure. And she's, as Lisa said, it doesn't look like she's missed a beat. I think she's talented enough, and you know, hopefully, you know, we've seen far worse exits from WWE, and things have reconciled. Hopefully, it's not the last that we've seen of her in a WWE ring at some point when the time is right. Just looking at some of the comments going on here. Mike saying, acknowledging what I said earlier. Got the notification 8:45. Yeah, the link goes out for us doing the podcast, so you can always be part of this chat group. Jonathan saying, see you there at SmackDown and Backlash. That's to Issa. Bit saying, I am watching you guys on Facebook. Yes, so all across, thanks, whether it's YouTube, I think Twitch, Facebook, you know, of course, then Apple Podcasts and Spotify for the audio after the fact. Appreciate it all. All right, so that was Trinity Fatu against again. You can go read more of what you had to say on Wrestling Inc., or you can go, of course, to Bust It Open to find the full audio from its origin. Next up, let's go over to AEW here. A big story this week has been the pre-sale for the huge show they have coming up, the All In show on August 27th at Wembley Stadium. And Tony Khan, according to him, at this point they have sold over 43,000 tickets, and this is all pre-sale. You know, have a code, have a special link. The general on sale to everybody is this Friday. So several thousand more tickets presumably going to be moved. But Tony Khan saying over 43,000 tickets sold. That's approximately just about $6 million just there for the gate so far. Jimmy, we don't know one single match that's going to be on the card. You don't know anything. But props to AEW just on name value to the crowd, and for the first time going overseas to the UK, 43,000 is nothing to discuss.
No, absolutely, and good for them. That's awesome. You know, people are curious. People want to see. They've got some buzz. They've created a buzz. It's going over there for the first time, and that's good to see. I don't want to sound like Captain Negativity here, but at the same time, now they have to deliver. And I'm not saying that they won't, and I'm not speculating one way or the other. I'm just saying now is the time. You're getting a lot of eyes on the product. You know, maybe, you know, obviously you want to cater to your hardcore audience, but at the same time, you have to cater to a wider audience as well. You got to be able to do both to grow. And this is a good first, I don't want to say first step. The first step was getting on TV and doing what they're doing right now. This is a great next step to elevate your business, because it is the wrestling business after all. So happy for them. Glad. I hope this is a really successful thing and it becomes, an annual tradition. Who knows?
Yeah, Jimmy, let me look. I think the fact they're able just by name to sell 43,000, and they're probably going to get another at least 10, I would imagine, from the sale. You know, this is probably still their diehard audience. The audience is going to watch anyway. So I don't know if this is going to be the audience you're going to grow. I think what's good about this is that you're going to have probably 50,000 plus passionate, loud fans who are thirsty to have AEW because they haven't got to see them live. The growing of the audience is going to come by way of who can you get in America and the rest of the world to buy the stream. What matches can you put on there that's going to make somebody go, you know, I've heard about this AEW. I want to finally buy a stream. Jimmy said they have to deliver. Absolutely, they have a tall task now to deliver in front of what's going to be the largest audience. Do you agree? Tony Khan already knows what his main event's going to be at that show.
I don't know. Maybe I will hope that you don't plan that kind of show without having at least some kind of structure or some ideas going into it, right? But this is that time of the year where AEW, they're about to get very busy. I mean, they have to focus. You have Double or Nothing. You have All In, All Out. You have Forbidden Door. I mean, we're talking 4 pay-per-views in a matter of the next summer months, where we went 4 months without a pay-per-view. Now we're going to get pretty much back-to-backs, and that is a lot of time to build stories, but that is a lot of pay-per-views, a lot of stream to sell. But listen, I am a ball of happiness this week, because I am in a place where people don't get to see this all the time, and seeing the excitement happening around people that are going to get to see something they've been craving to see for so long. I'm very happy for the fans in the UK that have been dying to see these shows, and I hope they enjoy it. I'm happy how they did in the pre-sale. I don't understand this whole energy of not wanting a company to be successful going around in social media. Like, I don't understand where that's coming from. I think 43,000 is a very solid number for a pre-sale, and I hope they sell the place out, and most importantly, that we get a show that we talk about for years in a positive way.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think if everything stays on course and they deliver how they want to deliver quality of show, they could very easily probably make this a once a year thing, where maybe it's the only time they come to the UK just to make it that much, more of a special deal. So this could be something they could hang their hats on annually. But first things first, let's see how this first one goes. But very exciting stuff, and obviously a huge win on paper at the moment for on paper and in the bank for AEW for that. So. Big stuff there. All right, well, let's stick with AEW. That's what we got for the rest of the night, because it is Wednesday, so it's Dynamite. Coming to you from Baltimore, Maryland, home of the great Jimmy's Seafood. Get your cream of crab soup if you ever go there. All right, let's kick it off with some 8-man tag action, as we have Orange Cassidy, Bandito, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole, baby, up against the JAS minus Chris Jericho. Jericho's going to sit on commentary. And this is fast action paced match, as you'd expect with all 8 of these guys. Obviously, Roderick Strong's in-ring debut for AEW, but of course the entire story here is all about Jericho on commentary, again, just verbally admonishing Adam Cole, and how can Adam let that happen to Britt, and Jericho is wearing the controversial Britt Baker black eye t-shirt. Adam Cole in the ring is going to hit that knee, hit that boom. He's going to get the pin, I think, against Daniel Garcia. And then after that, he immediately bolts out of the ring and charges the commentary table, and just eat your heart out. Goldberg just spears Jericho through the backdrop and set, just pummeling him. It eventually spills into the parking lot, where Britt Baker then comes and slaps Jericho. Jimmy, this thing has got a lot of heat. It's boiling. To me, it's one of the it's not official yet, but it's assumed this will be a match at Double or Nothing. Definitely one of the matches that has more of my attention because of the levels here, the different levels of build.
Right. No, I agree. They got me invested, and that's the main thing. You got me invested in wanting to see what's going to happen next, especially with these two. And Jericho on commentary has been really, really good, and calling out Adam Cole for allowing that to happen to his wife and all that kind of stuff. Typical heel Jericho, and it's awesome. And I like the fact that Adam Cole is acting appropriately to to defend the honor of his wife and that sort of stuff. It's a story that they're building, and that's, again, I'm not trying to sound like this get off my lawn guy, but at the same time, you can do your big moves and have people go, oh, but now people are watching this going, oh, they're focusing in, they're tuning in. The only critique I will have was, once they went out to the parking lot and it finally broke up, they should have left it there. Maybe this, okay, we'll be back and see what happens, because right from there, they went to the next segment, which we'll talk about. But anyways, they didn't let it breathe. They didn't let the audience absorb what they just saw, a great moment of television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Issa, what do you think of this week here with Adam Cole? I mean, that's the logical thing, right? As soon as he gets the pin, he's bolts into Chris Jericho, who's in the same room.
I thought it was hilarious that he just took off, and I thought Jericho did a good job at showing that he's looking at the monitor so he doesn't notice this happening. Because he should have noticed it happening. But I mean, he's a pro, he's a legend. He knows what he's doing. He was looking down to just sell the fact that he didn't see Adam Cole coming. It was actually a very scary spot. I don't know if you guys noticed. There was stairs behind Jericho, like literally inches away from where he speared him. That could have gone so wrong. But I will agree that I'm very invested in the storyline. I thought the match was great. I just want to give a shout out to Roderick Strong. It was his in-ring debut at AEW, and we just said that about Trinity. He didn't miss a step. I thought he looked great in the ring. I thought all his in-ring stuff was really good tonight. Love seeing him back in the ring. But yeah, Jericho and Adam Cole is really what I'm invested in. But they gave us a hot opener. It was a great match. I don't like Britt making the save here only because she goes on to make the save later on a different angle, and I just don't need her making the save for everybody. Pick which angle you're gonna put her. I think she played her part when we set this up. Now I don't need her to make the save for Adam Cole every week, so I just didn't like that part. But overall, very into the storyline. Hot opener. Roddy looked great.
No, I agree with that part about Britt because when obviously we'll get to it, but when she shows up later in the ring, commentary even made like a comment like, "Oh, she was backstage a minute, or she was in the parking lot a minute ago. Now she's here." Like almost like they were trying to like acknowledge it, so that way it wasn't like an elephant in the room. But even it still kind of sounded a little ridiculous. But I do agree. I think given the emotional trauma that was displayed in that emotional segment when she's, when Adam Cole's handcuffed and then she's getting beat, it almost feels like it wouldn't be appropriate again for her to be standing there just with Jericho until we get to the pay-per-view, until there's a difference. Like it feels kind of throwaway to do it in the parking lot.
And in addition to that, you have a lot of heat going on Jericho for saying, "I can't believe you let that happen to Britt Baker. What kind of man are you?" And her coming out to make the save just takes a little bit away from how big of a man Adam Cole is here and kind of making Jericho's point more valid. So I just need more 50-50 here.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's fair to look at, but again, certainly got a lot of emotion involved in it, and emotion always sells. And again, whenever you can pull from some real, and in the real case here, obviously, is Britt and Adam are a real couple, so the audience it's easier for them to believe because they know that it's an extension of reality. So, good stuff here. We still got a month to go, basically, until this match. Again, the assumed match. So I'll be really curious how they fill the next few weeks with all parties involved. Yeah,
Sorry to cut you off there, Justin. And that's what I liked about the physicality. It didn't last that long. Yeah. Because there is time before that match actually happens. So, yeah, they kept it to a minimum.
Yeah. We got a Blackpool Combat Club promo. Dan O'Brien, talking about how ignorant one Bret Hart could be to call himself the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be, thinking that nobody else will ever be better, talking about how great of wrestlers they are, how great of a wrestling company AEW is to be. Moxley then comes in and says, once upon a time the Elite was cutting edge, but it's 2023. They're not, but Moxley and all the members of Blackpool Combat Club, they are just sharpening themselves, their blades sharpening themselves with iron. And basically there's a new Moxley. And next week in a steel cage, Moxley versus Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega just not ready for the intensity that Moxley's going to bring. And of course, Moxley teased blood. So, Issa, did this? What thoughts on the promo? And are you excited for this cage match next week? Which I guess real quick before I say it, I'll give you Moxley's response, which is later. Omega's response. Omega and Don Callis cut a promo, basically saying. Moxley, you have heavy hands, but that ain't gonna ever be able to equal up and topple Kenny's talent, Don's will, and next week, Kenny Omega says to Moxley, everything will come to an end. So your thoughts on the back and forth promos between the two sides?
Yeah, I love the promos. I just gotta say, I'm really high on Brian becoming like this mouthpiece for BCC. I know that Moxley came in and spoke his piece. He needed to. He's the one taking on Kenny Omega next week. But I'm just loving everything Brian is doing. And I know he's a heel, and I probably shouldn't be loving it, but I am. I thought the back and forth was fine. We just seeing. I thought it was better because we saw so much physicality from them for the last 2 weeks. So just doing a quick little backstage of them talking was smooth. I gotta tell you, I'm very excited for the match, and I hope that they promote it because I do think this could spike up the ratings. Steel cage, Kenny Omega and Mox on free TV. Sign me up.
Jimmy, cage match next week. There will be blood.
Likely. Let's put it that way. There will likely be, and I agree with Isa. I'm looking forward to this match. It should be very interesting. You know, it's almost one of those deals where you're saying you're putting this on free TV. Come on, man, this is a pay-per-view quality match, and that's fine. You know, it's again, they're telling a nice story here, and that's what's getting me invested, especially with these two guys. And you mentioned the promos; they talked me into wanting to see this, and that's the thing.
That is the thing. Yeah, and obviously, yeah, that's a huge thing for Dynamite. Next week, that main event could be, you could put it on a pay-per-view, but I assume they're doing it because the build is for both factions to collide come Double or Nothing. So you got to get this one out. I'll be curious what what transpires next week. I really am. Who goes over? What happens? Obviously, a cage is meant to keep people out. Will that be successful? Yeah, so very interesting story. You know, there was a lot, and we'll continue to talk about it tonight. There was definitely stories. There was definitely some more commitment, I feel, than in past times that we saw tonight on Dynamite, of some stories that are consistently being built, which is a good thing.
Yes,
in any which way. Looking at some super chats here real quick. Going back to the Wembley Stadium talk, John Jordan, $5. Thank you, John. Asking if AEW were to beat SummerSlam 92, is that really a huge deal, beating something from 30 plus years ago? Feel like they massage the narrative constantly. Well, I don't know who the they is if you're talking about AEW. I don't know. I don't know if it's an apples to apples comparison, Jimmy. As somebody who was working for the company in 1992, I mean, look, SummerSlam 92, while it goes down as one of the most iconic SummerSlams, it's a different time. Also, a different time when there's only a different time. It wasn't even when it happened there in Wembley. It didn't even air to the world on pay-per-view for, I think, another day. Right. So I don't know. I don't know if it's an apples to apples comparison. SummerSlam 92, they say 80,000. It's long since been disputed with WWE's attendance and numbers exactly how accurate that is. So I don't really know I don't really think there's any measurement that you can say AEW beat SummerSlam 92 or SummerSlam 92 beat AEW. I don't think there's any measurement that's going to truly give that to you.
No, and I mean, like you said, it is a different time and different era, and if they do end up beating the number attendance wise, and obviously money wise, it will for sure, because obviously everything costs more nowadays. So you can tout those numbers all you want, but you know what? Let them. If they do beat that number, great. Then they got something else to brag about. You know what I mean? And of course they will. But like you said, Justin, does it really mean all that much? I don't know. It does mean something. It is a positive sign. Let's put it that way, that they are growing their business, they're growing their company, and they're getting people invested.
Yeah, I do think it means something. I'm sorry, Justin. I was just going to say, I just don't think that we have to automatically go into WWE versus AEW for absolutely everything that the companies do. The AEW has not have a stadium show. It is a big win, and it doesn't need to be compared to a show older than some of you people in the chat. Like, we don't need to do that right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, and you won't be able to tell this because you need 30 more years. I mean, SummerSlam 92 is still talked about 30 years later. So if somebody wants to lay the gauntlet out, I guess, challenge AEW to do a show that 30 years from now pro wrestling fans are talking about it, I guess is the
correct. That's what I said. A show that we talk about for a long time in a positive way is what needs to come out of this. But I don't want to see this show and compare it to the SummerSlam 92. I want to see this show as the first stadium show that AEW did, and it was successful. That's what I would like to see without comparing it to anything. They're all going to eventually run the same arenas. There's only so many stadiums and so many places to go. That's just the way that the business works.
Yeah, technically it's being considered AEW's second stadium show, the Arthur Ashe Stadium, which drew about 20,000 fans in Queens, technically. But obviously this trumps that even. Yeah, it's just some fun facts real quick.
We don't count that it's in Queens, LaBar. Nobody counts anything that happens in Queens, please.
Spoken like a true Yankees fan. With the pre-still still ongoing, All In has outdrawn every event in WCW history and the bulk of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Tokyo Dome shows, which max out around 45,000 with the stage ramp setup that they usually do. So just looking in, and if you want to compare, as John Jordan is, and ask where does it rank as you start comparing against others, it is up there, second to obviously just some of the bigger WrestleManias that WWE has done. So very interesting stuff there, John. Thank you for the talking point. Another super chat coming. How about this one? I don't want to try to pronounce your name because I don't want to I don't want to be rude and butcher, but up there on the screen, huge shout out saying good morning from India. So good morning. Do you think every week announcing of someone being elite makes wrestlers like Jay White being elite news? Another normal news. I'll just go out and say yes, I do. That's mine. Issa, if everybody's elite, then there's nothing elite about being elite.
Right, correct. Then everybody's elite. I'm gonna thank you so much for the super chat. Incredible that you're watching us from India. I love how international we are. I'm gonna call you Double S so we don't ruin your name. But I agree. I remember because not everybody used to get the graphic, and now everybody's getting it. Everybody in every position is getting it, and it's just like, okay, another person is elite. Sometimes people on social media make like a play graphic, and I don't even know anymore which ones are the real ones and which ones are fake ones because I think
guilty. Yeah,
like you'll be scrolling and you're like, oh, somebody, and you have to like take a double look to see who posted it because there's so many blank it's all elite graphics. But congratulations to Will Washington getting his gig at All Elite.
Jimmy, yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see. They really have loaded up their roster big time in the last 2 years. Part of that maybe infused when WWE let go of so much talent through the pandemic and what have you. But yeah, I'll be curious if the pace slows up once they launch this second show. Once they launch that second show, which they're trying to build to us. Or at least it hasn't even been official, but it's being internally kind of built that it's going to be of equal stature of Dynamite. It's going to be their Raw SmackDown. It's going to be their Dynamite, and I think Collision's the rumored name. If they launch that and they see, okay, here's what we have roster wise, here's what we have that's filling out the spots. I'll be curious if they slow down on signing people because it looks like Dark and Elevation are disappearing their online shows. So.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. And I think they need to because they are really overstacked right now. And even if they do make it like separate brands, so to speak, like everybody's assuming right now that it's going to be, you're going to have a specific roster for Dynamite and a specific roster for alleged Collision. Is that
it's Collision, yeah.
The rumored name. Still, you need to give people airtime, but you can't, jam as many people in there as you can because they have a tendency to try to cram too much into the 2 hours on Wednesday night. You don't want to do the same thing on Saturday night as well. Give people time, give them space, give these stories like we saw tonight time to grow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when was the last time wrestling was on weekly on Saturday Night's Main Event obviously was a special thing that was happened 30 years ago that was done late night. WCW's famous show was 6:05 on TBS, and it was never its A show. Well, I guess it was an A show before Nitro, if you get technical, but it was kind of a sidebar show. So that'll be another thing is how does it do in this day and age of all this media to consume? How does it do on a Saturday evening, depending on what time slot they put it in? So
true.
I'm sure we'll be talking much more about that as we approach that impending launch in June. Again, big thanks to Double S as he said W. Good morning, India. That is awesome. So I hope you're having.
I'm going to give it a shot. Just the first name, Srideep.
Srideep. I mean, that's
try it.
That's what it looked.
Right, I hope so.
Yeah, that would have been my best guess, but I didn't want to. I'd rather just have been polite and acknowledge that I see it, and I'm not going to butcher it.
There you go.
But big thank you there. I'm glad you are tuning in, and hope you're having a good morning on that Thursday morning. Terry Allen Jr. Super Chat saying Anthony Ogogo been absent and should be at All In. A very good point. Obviously,
what happened to him?
English performer. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, maybe he's hanging out with Miro somewhere.
He's lost in the many elite talent.
Shame. It's a shame. Agreed. I think it would be a big deal in the All In. They have time. We're talking August. It's May. You have time to rebuild and bring him back if he's still around. I don't know. Yeah,
we'll see. They do have plenty of time, and obviously between Double Nothing and then Forbidden Door, which is kind of like it's half theirs, half New Japan. So
let's just not do the American versus British gimmick with him again because that didn't go well the first time.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. That was a bit of a flop. All right, up next. Being nice. Up next, Saraya and the Outcasts are out there. Saraya in a 1-on-1 match against Willow Nightingale
at 8:30.
At 8:30, train was early. A competitive match. Actually, even went through commercial. But it does, as commentary said, it took a village. It took all three of Outcasts to outsmart and distract the ref and what have you. They beat Willow Nightingale. Saraya does, and then after the fact, here comes Hikaru Shida. At first, she thinks she's coming out to make the save. Then she aligns herself briefly with the Outcast, but oh no, it was all a ruse, because as she has the Outcast distracted, Britt and Jamie Hayter pop up in the ring, and Hikaru Shida reveals that she is actually there to get her some of the Outcast, which makes sense, and they tell the story quickly on commentary of the history there, and then they all proceed to kick the Outcast's butt and get them out of the ring. Jimmy, I'll say this. For the 15 seconds where they were selling us that Hikaru Shida was joining the Outcast, I was screaming and writing in fury, because I'm like, this makes no sense because of the past and because she's not an Outcast. She was the first damn AEW Women's Champion. So they got me. They got me hook, line, and sinker with the emotion. I was very happy to see her pulling the ruse there. But like we said earlier, weird seeing Britt come in that situation because she was just in the parking lot. But nonetheless, all things considered, the Outcast versus the homegrown, as we'll call them, the story continues. Where are you at with it?
No, I enjoyed tonight. I like the double swerve, and you're right, they did get me, and I was like, wait a minute, again, here we go, something that doesn't make sense. And other than, like you said, the timing with Britt being in the parking lot and then being out there, you know what? I'll let it go because they got me, and I enjoyed the segment, and I thought the ladies had a pretty good match. It's just I wish they didn't have to rely so much on referee distractions, because they not only in this match, there were other matches too. The more you do it, the less it means.
Yeah, Issa, this looks like this would be the 3-on-3. Is this what we're now going for Double or Nothing? Is this 6-woman tag?
Yeah, it appears to be going that way. I really like the double swerve here. Contrary to you, when Shida teased joining the Outcast, I was intrigued. I'm like, this doesn't make sense, but do I like it? And I love that they double swerved us. I just absolutely love any kind of effort going into a women's storyline, and that seems to be what we're getting here. I will say one thing that somebody pointed out on my watch along earlier. They did the same thing with Ruby Soho. With the whole, will she join? Will she not join? Which side is she going to go? But I like the way that it was executed here with Shida. So props to this. This was all good.
I liked that Britt and Jamie got a little popping up in the ring there, and people popped that Shida was actually with them. What was concerning, well, that's good. Your baby faces are going to pop. What was concerning to me is I'm listening and I'm watching the crowd. You can always watch them, especially WWE fans will say, oh, they're piping in sound noise in WWE. I don't know if AEW does any sound piping, but you can always watch fans, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm watching Saraya come out. I mean, she had one of the biggest pops when she made her surprise debut in AEW, however many months ago that was. Mm-hmm. But I'm watching her come out for singles action, and she doesn't wrestle singles matches every week. I mean, people just sitting down, mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, it hurts me that the excitement has fallen.
I love that you brought that up, because not only did I notice it here, and I'm going to jump ahead just for this comment, but when Jungle Boy came out, they went to the crowd and there was like only 5 people standing up doing this. And I was like, what is happening? Because I remember when the entire arena will get up and you will see it was one of the great visuals that AEW had. And I noticed tonight that there's a few people that I remember pops used to be massive that seem to be cooling off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, 2023. It's hard to get baby faces that are over like Rover, and so it makes it even more disheartening when you feel like you're starting to kill people's pops.
Yeah, but we're talking about a baby face and a heel, and two very popular, wrestlers. So it was just odd.
Mm-hmm. Mike Martin comments talking about Agoja. He never learned how to wrestle. Is what happened to him wrestling people.
Shout out to Mike Martin. Look at that profile picture. It seems like he lost a lot of weight. Good job.
Good boy.
Oh yeah, his split screen. Yeah, all right. Before and after, nice stuff. King Kia 864. Ogogo had major eye surgery.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
That would answer. I don't think this is that. I think the color plays tricks. The camera plays tricks, but Sonny says Jimmy's wearing a nails wrestling outfit. That's not an orange jumpsuit.
It's not orange.
No, he's wearing coral pink because we're supposed to wear pink on Wednesdays, but Justin LaBar refuses to follow the rules.
Look, there's a little. I can sit with you. Look,
yeah, you can. I'll allow it tonight.
Sit with you. All right, we get a very ahead of the Trios Battle Royal. We get a pre-tape promo from the House of Black, and they are explaining they're opening up for challengers for the Trios titles but they're given the house rules, and the house rules, 20-second count out. There was going to be no running away, no running from them. So there's even longer time to be counted out, to be on the outside. No
Their
rope.
countouts take 40 seconds anyway, so
Yeah.
we don't need the rules.
Well, there's a whole underlying joke of them having these rules, but I'll let me get through them all. 20-second count out. No rope escape because pain must be inflicted. You're not going to just get out of it cheaply. And I'm paraphrasing. They said it much more menacing than I am. I'm trying to write this as fast as they're talking. They said DQs enforced. Is that what I heard? DQs enforced. And then right after, they didn't really give an explanation. Then they said like dealer's choice. And then like Julia Hart's given like a, it's fair. It's the way it needs to be. Overall, while there's a joke, and I'll go to the referee first, while there's a bit of an ironic joke, I like the look and feel of the promo. Again, the content we can dabble in the what sense does it make? But I thought they looked and sounded and felt cool. So what do you think of this, Jimmy?
No, I agree with you. I thought they looked good. They looked menacing. They sounded menacing. And this whole thing, you want to talk about the elephant in the room, the 20 count, the 20 rule on the outside. They said they want to extend it to 20. I thought they made an announcement a long time ago, and my good brother in stripes, Brian Hemmer, can attest to this, that when he was there, he was told that here in AEW, they have a 20 count outside the ring. Now, all of a sudden, it's gone back to 10 without any explanation or anything. And again, they're out there so long, does it really matter in some of these matches? But anyway,
King Kia says the last rule is the number of ref bumps you can have before Jimmy goes. It's not even bumps; it's distractions.
No, it's not. Yeah,
it's here's a bee buzzing around the referee, and their heads on a swivel following the bee.
Yep, exactly.
Issa, your thoughts on the House of Black and their house rules?
I like the promo. I thought it was entertaining. I like seeing them on TV. There was like a week there where I forgot they were trios champions because you weren't really focusing on them. So keep them on TV even if they don't have a match. This was great. I like that. I like the House of Black a lot.
Yeah. Again, these are one of the acts where I want to see more consistency of seeing them each week. And again, hopefully, if they expand into two meaningful shows, 1A and 1B shows, that we can see more of them and their title holders. So we should, because I really like. They look like somebody who's a draw. I'm going to pay money to see them. So we'll see. So they're of course talking about the trios titles. Up next is our Trey DeMaio Trios Battle Royal. It's 6 trio teams and they're 18 men in all. And by this unique Battle Royal, the way for a team to be eliminated is all 3 members must be eliminated. So you're not out until all 3 are done. This is going to come down to the Butcher, Blade, and Kip Sabian. So all 3 from their trio. And then opposite of them is Anthony Bowens and Daddy Ass from the Acclaimed. And Bowens and Daddy Ass clear it out. They get all 3 of Butcher, Blade, and Sabian eliminated. And so the Acclaim wins. They didn't say officially that this match is like for the next number 1 contender, but commentary was kind of surmising that this would certainly set you up to be a challenger sooner rather than later for the trios titles. Issa, these AEW Battle Royals, they are unique, in terms of you gotta have multiple eliminations, this and that. It's a bit you need a bit of a scorecard to follow it, but it is unique. I do think, if you're looking at all the trios, this is the most interesting and over trio is the Acclaim. So by that logic, I'm okay with how this all went down.
Oh yeah, I picked the Acclaim as soon as I saw, the trios that were coming out. I just even think just the difference in the promo styles is gonna be just fun to watch between these 2 teams. I will say, stupidest elimination goes to Max Caster, because why would you stand on the top rope in the middle of a Battle Royal or Royal Rumble? Like it's just dumb. So it was deserved. But I'm still glad that everybody had to be eliminated and the Acclaim were able to win. Otherwise, they would have not even, made the cut over a stupid decision.
Jimmy, do you like this? Do you like this special brand of Battle Royal?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I like the fact that, like Issa said, all of them had to be eliminated, as opposed to, you get the easy out where you eliminate 1 member and then the other 2 members have to go with them. So I enjoyed that. And I didn't like the fact, though, the only thing is they didn't make it official. They had that promo right before with the House of Black, which was a great promo. And it looked like it was setting up that the winner of this trios Battle Royal would get a shot at the Trios Championship, but we're now assuming that that's happening, as opposed to them officially saying, the winner of this match, or even if they had just said before the match during the promo, hey, whoever wins this Trios Battle Royal, here they are, come get them.
Yeah.
That's all they had to say. Something simple like that, but it was fun otherwise.
Yeah, and maybe they didn't want to commit to saying that the winner of this Battle Royal challenges next week or whatever, maybe because they are trying to navigate schedules or what have you, so they keep it open-ended. But if the Acclaimed is owed now a title match, so let's just not forget that, but I don't think they will. The Acclaimed is one of those acts that they're pretty consistent of getting them on each week because they are so over, and right. Why would you not? Headlock Heel saying at Mike Martin, you on that DDP yoga? Me and the wife was thinking about doing it when we move into our house, and that's what I believe Mike said right here. Thanks for wrestling people. DDP yoga and eating healthy. Thank you all day. So cool. Good vibes, good feelings. All right, so that is your trios action for the night. So we'll stay tuned and see where that goes. Backstage, we see MJF and or actually, I should say we see Sammy Guevara, him and MJF having a little. Sammy kind of challenging MJF, saying, "I watched the show back. That back seat last week was empty, and you wouldn't let me ride home with you." And MJF starts to put on his best soap opera performance and say, "I'm having chronic back issues from having to carry this company. I needed to lay down in the back seat. That's all it was. I didn't want to tell you or admit that. I didn't want you to think less of me." And then they hug it out. They kiss. All is fine, as they, of course, are working towards their main event later tonight. So just going to throw that one out there. Wardlow's in action. Once again, they didn't even, their ring announce, Justin Roberts said it. They didn't even give me a graphic. I think the guy's name was Logan LaRue. Doesn't matter. He wasn't there for long.
That was his name. Yeah. That was his name.
Wardlow handles him pretty quickly. And then Wardlow gets on the mic and calls out Christian and Luchasaurus, says, "Let's just go ahead and do this." Christian comes out and says he could, if he wanted to, dispatch his right hand of destruction that is Luchasaurus, and they could take that title. But they don't want to do that right now. Not tonight, not especially not in a place like Baltimore. And then Christian says, and you have it all wrong. There is a title match coming, but the title match is not coming for Luchasaurus. The title match is coming for Christian Cage. Jimmy, I'll go to the Canadian here first. What do you think of the swerve that we are building toward? I mean, we might still get Luchasaurus and Wardlow in the midst, but that the bigger thing we're building to is Christian Cage making a rare in-ring appearance and challenging Wardlow for the title. Your thoughts?
I think it's interesting, and what was more interesting, I thought the look that Luchasaurus gave Christian Cage after he said, "I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about me." That was interesting too. Planted a seed of maybe the little dissension there as well. So a win by Wardlow over someone with the name value of a Christian Cage would definitely help elevate, because what was the last couple of weeks? He's been in enhancement matches, basically. So, a win over Christian Cage before having to deal with someone the size and and as menacing as Luchasaurus, maybe a better, road to take. But they still have to talk me into wanting to see this.
They got to talk us in. I mean, I will say, Issa, we kind of criticized the last few weeks of just let Wardlow have his glory. Why do we have to keep rushing Christian and Luchasaurus out there to have a post-match or whatever interruption? But nonetheless, I will say they got to. I mean, I want to hear some more talking in. But if you look at this, a couple things are going to happen here. You're going to get again the special attraction draw of Christian Cage, a Hall of Famer, having a match, which he doesn't have a whole lot of anymore. Presumably, I hope he's not beating Wardlow, so it's a huge win for Wardlow's resume, and potentially it could spare another big guy, Luchasaurus, from getting beat by a Wardlow. So you can maybe say that for later if those two don't actually have a match in the midst. So all those things, I'm kind of okay with this swerve, bro. What say you?
Yeah, 1000%. Because when I saw Luchasaurus came back, one of my first thoughts was, "Oh God, is he gonna lose to Wardlow?" And then I was like, "Oh God, is he gonna beat Wardlow?" Like, I didn't think there was a win-win situation here. I think Wardlow beating Christian makes all the sense in the world, and I couldn't wait for Christian to just start speaking. I'm just such a big fan of his promos, and I missed them. So as soon as I saw him get the mic and then the swerve that he's the one who's going after Wardlow and the title, everything here was top notch, excellently done. I'm here for it. I'm invested. They're really working on building some storylines that I'm into, and I'm happy about that, because we've been a little bit critical about them just putting matches together on Wednesdays just to put matches together, and now they're actually working on storytelling. So major props for that. Warlow's gear keeps getting smaller every week, and I'm not complaining.
Moving on. Headlock heel saying, I got a feeling Cage is going to beat Wardlow and win the title. It's the WCW thing to do.
Oof.
Our friend Bernie DC, kind of always with our trivia and stats here. Logan Easton LaRue, tremendous talent in Mid-Atlantic. So yeah,
cool.
Maryland-based East Coast Mid-Atlantic guy.
Okay.
All right, so there we go. So Wardlow again, consistency, keep him out there. There we go. All right, up next was the thing that we didn't know we needed. But boy, was it!
Oh
fun.
my God, yes.
So we're in. So for those of you non-geography majors, and if you've never been around the Mid-Atlantic, Maryland, Delaware area, with Maryland, Delaware, DC, that's my old stomping grounds. Baltimore, Maryland, just a few hours from Sandy Fork, Delaware. It's an easy trip you can do. Just hop over the Bay Bridge. You're over there in Delaware. Sandy Fork, Delaware, of course, where Mark Briscoe and family live. They have their famous chicken farm. They're the chicken farmers. And so Jeff Jarrett, Sonjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and who else am I missing? Is that all of them? Jay Lethal, of course.
Yes.
They all decided to pay a visit to the farm. They're wearing overalls. Double J's singing his best of tunes. And it's just it's all kinds of fun here, and then they're setting up matches for the future here. Mark Briscoe and his father's telling him to watch out for the ones in the overalls. A lot of comedy here. I can't even seriously try to give too much play-by-play to this because it's just that much ridiculousness. Issa, I know you're a fan of the Briscoes, and just give me your reaction as you're watching this segment that none of us had any idea was coming.
This was my favorite thing on the show tonight, hands down. So much fun. I was smiling. It was wholesome. Satnam Singh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I always butcher his name, but this is the most interesting that I found him the entire time that he's been in AEW with the overalls and holding on to the baby. Of course, I still have a little bit of nostalgia because Jay's not here, and there's a part of me that wishes we could have got Jay doing these kind of segments in AEW. Like we could have, gone over that whole the Briscoes are not allowed around here because they would have been fun. But I'm glad that they're just letting Mark Briscoe be Mark Briscoe, because that's how you fall in love with the Briscoes, and they're introducing him to a whole new audience, and this is what they need to see.
Jimmy Clay Ford says this was so sports entertaining, best segment AEW's done in a long time. So yeah, a little departure from match after match after match kind of format.
Yeah, and I liked it because it wasn't the usual after the match we have this going on and that going on and this is going on backstage, and it was a fun segment that was meant to be entertaining, and it was. And then when you hear Papa Briscoe pop in and the whole I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I had fun with it. It made me smile. Let's put it that way.
There's something so much fun about when they just go outside of the ring and involve a little bit of real life and make it a little bit funny. Like I'm just a big fan of all of that. This was very well done, especially for AEW. They don't typically do things like this. This is so. I'm sorry, but WWE would do something like this before AEW would.
Well, I mean, I think that the term that Clay just used, it is more of the sports entertainment element of content. Yeah, I mean, I looked on social briefly, and it looks like a lot more positivity on social about this than negativity, which that's always hard to get that vote to come in. So yeah, good stuff there. And I'm not really going to dive into much because it's going to happen next week on Rampage. But as we talk about stuff happening out of the arena and more sports entertaining, we're going to have the Firm deletion of Matt Hardy and crew up against the Firm on the Hardy compound.
They're putting that on Rampage. That should be on Dynamite as well. I'm a little upset that it's on a Rampage.
You know what? It's one of the most. I might DVR that episode of Rampage.
Yeah, no. No, but it's I will find a way to watch it. But yeah, I wish it would have been on Dynamite.
Yeah, well, see.
Especially when you don't know what time to find Rampage anymore. It hasn't aired at the same time or
Yeah.
the same channel for like the last 4 weeks. So it's a very hard sell for this match for people to even find it, even if they're into it.
And it doesn't even air on television up here.
Right.
You have to go to the website of the station that airs Dynamite up here and stream it.
Mm.
Speaking of good things that happen outside of the ring, completely off topic, but I need to give a shout out to Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest, who showed up tonight at a basketball game from a team in Puerto Rico that Bad Bunny owns, and Dominic cut a thick promo, got all the heat from the crowd. I really hope this makes the rounds around social media because it was beautifully done, especially because Bad Bunny owns that team. Everybody here knows it, and they just went in there and talk all the crap in his house. Excellently done.
Tremendous.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you is it on your Twitter or do you have it anywhere?
I'll tweet it out when we're done.
Yeah, tweet it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's at NYC Demon and then the letter
if you-
D. The letter D.
For
Number.
those who not letter one instead of an I. For those who speak Spanish, I also tweeted out his interview, and he did a skit on a fun Puerto Rico. He's been doing a lot of Puerto Rican local media, Damian Priest, and he was having a blast yesterday. Great reaction from the crowd. I did tweet those clips out yesterday.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, NYC Demon D1VA. So Diva. Yeah, I know not to veer into WWE territory too much. I'm so looking forward to Backlash and seeing him and Bad Bunny in that spot. And
Look for the press conference. They announced today that it's gonna be for the public, free to attend. And if you tell Puerto Rican Bad Bunny's gonna be there and it's free, it's gonna be packed. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The crowd's gonna be crazy.
yeah, extra security gonna be needed for that.
It's for me.
Yes. My son the other day, he saw Judgment Day come out and he saw how, once the lights come up, how those big purple wings are on the board behind them, and he thought that, and he thought Priest looked really cool, and then I showed him a picture of Damian Priest chokeslamming me back in the day, and that kind of blew his 5-year-old mind.
Wow.
So that was a kind of a fun little impromptu Judgment Day moment with my 5-year-old. Yeah, looking forward to that Backlash Saturday. Of course, there'll be podcast Saturday night. I'm not sure who all is going to be on it, but that'll be Saturday night. Issa, are you going to be at the press conference Friday? I assume, right?
Yes, I will be there.
Okay, very good. So follow all the more reason to follow her. All right, up next we get Ricky Starks versus Juice Robinson. Now, there's been a history here that's been happening in the last few weeks. Juice Robinson comes out, Jay White comes out to the ramp, and then just goes to the back. That's actually a pretty good match. I thought that this was a good bell-to-bell match between these two guys. Definitely go check it out if you get a chance to have the time to do so. Ricky Starks does get the win with the Beauchambeau, and then Jay White comes out and attacks him after the fact. And again, kind of going to what I said earlier about Saraya, like obviously Jay White not as big of a star in my mind worldwide as Saraya, just because Saraya had a whole different exposure. I mean, she had a Hollywood movie made about her life, for Christ's sakes. But Jay White, again, he's kind of come out, and Jay White's just kind of like another guy. I feel like Issa's sigh is her version of raising her hand to speak. And go ahead, sister.
Yeah, I obviously you guys know I do watch alongs, and I gotta tell you, when he first came out and attacked Ricky, and I'm sorry, but my first words were, "Who is that?" And it killed me and broke my heart because it took me like 5 seconds to put the entire storyline together and go, "Oh crap, that's Jay White." It just shouldn't feel this way. Great match between Ricky and Juice Robinson. I just want a little bit more from Jay White. Forbidden Door is right around the corner. It's June. We're already in May. We have to. I think you can do something so special with Jay White being part of your roster for Forbidden Door. So I hope we start seeing more from him. But hey, there was a lot of story building tonight, so I'm not gonna pick on the one that I was like, yeah, this isn't really it. Also, side note, the 10, I don't know if Baltimore people don't know how to 10 or who they brought out there, but MJF and Juice Robinson completely failed at the 10 game today. It was horrible.
The 10 game. Jimmy, Night One saying today is the 10th anniversary of the Bullet Club. If that's true, I feel like that's like a fun fact trivia that Tony Khan will lean into, especially when he has this Bullet Club gold that is Juice Robinson and Jay White. Your thoughts?
Interesting. I didn't realize this. It feels like it's been longer than 10 years, or is it just me? I don't know.
10's about right.
20, yeah, no,
2013 is about right.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, maybe it feels longer because there's been. I feel like it's
different iterations.
Exactly.
Yeah. But still, that is a fun fact, and that's cool. And if they they should capitalize on the Bullet Club as much as they can. I know some people are saying maybe a little bit overuse of the Bullet Club, but hey, go with what works.
Yeah, I was following the Bullet Club back in the days of Gallows. It's kind of lost me since.
The Bullet Club is a big part of AEW and why they're here and who started it. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's a whole other. Yeah, it is. All right, yeah. So we'll see. So they're trying with this. They are trying to be somewhat consistent, getting these guys out there every week. Jack Roman saying May 3rd, 2013, Bullet Club was debuted. So
cool.
Jack, that's a comment from Facebook. So he's watching from Facebook. So thank you, Jack.
Hey.
All right. Backstage before we get to the main event, MJF sneaks himself into Jungle Boy's dressing room and basically says, "Look, I love you like a brother. You're even more talented. You're even more talented than Sammy. Look what I've done for Sammy's career. He's making more money now. He's higher profile. He's more over than he's ever been. You could be right there next to me. You and I could take this company to the next level. You could be right there next to the throne if you just want to go ahead and turn your back on a guy who doesn't really care about you and Darby Allin." And Jungle Boy says, "I don't want a spot next to the throne. I want the crown." And just as all that's coming down, Darby walks in back into the dressing room and a little skeptical of why his partner's talking to the opposition, to the snake that is MJF, minutes before they head to the ring. So we'll table comments for a minute, but just, is Sammy and MJF going to coexist and withstand? Is Darby and Jungle Boy? So everybody looking over their shoulder because they all have the same ultimate goal, which is to be the AEW World Champion. Of course, the stipulation here again is that if MJF and Sammy lose this tag match, this title match at Double or Nothing goes from the MJF versus Sammy lay down situation to it is a Pillars fatal four-way, all four guys in the mix. So we come out. MJF and Sammy have a mashup of their music. There's a sequence in the match. It's a back and forth with a scarf for a little bit here. The heels are using the scarf behind the ref's back, and then the ref all of a sudden is distracted ridiculously by the face, and then the faces are using to the heels. A little bit of Gaga there, Jimmy. You can get to that in a second. Jungle Boy really starts to shine as he's firing up. He's hulking up. He's going east to west, west to east several times, hitting people on the outside. Finally, MJF and Sammy start to unravel. MJF slaps Sammy. Sammy then super kicks him. There's a gimmick of surprise tags by each of them. Who wants the glory of having the pin? And then there's a surprise tag by Jungle Boy and Darby, which makes Darby actually the legal man. Darby jumps off the top, hits his coffin drop on Sammy, but nearly hits Jungle Boy as well. Darby had no regard for his partner being there in a line of fire. Ultimately, Darby gets the pin on Sammy. So because of that, Double or Nothing is Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy all challenging MJF for his AEW World Title. Jimmy, we've been talking about this for the last few weeks. This is not an out of nowhere conclusion. We all kind of figure this is the direction they're going in. Your thoughts on it? Where was your appreciation level to story trying to be told? The sneaking of tags, the deception and problems, not just on the heel side. Where did all this land for you? Was it too much, or did they package it all correctly in the 10-pound bag?
I wouldn't say they packaged it all correctly. There were little things, of course. I always pick on the little things, but I appreciate the attempt here. The seeds of doubt being planted in the mind of Darby Allin when he walked into the room and saw before the match MJF and Jungle Boy talking, and then during the match you saw other seeds of doubt being planted between Sammy and MJF. But as far as the story being told, I did appreciate that. I appreciated the fact that they tried to make it an old school tag match. The only thing was, again, I hate to go back to the referee distraction stuff. It just happens too much, and the heat goes to the wrong person.
Yeah.
When it happens, the heat is going to the referee. It should go to the heels, who are outsmarting the baby faces and referee into getting these distractions to work. And that's the only thing. Other than that, I thought the attempt was good. I appreciate the honest effort, but just those little things really kind of get me going. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I really, I'm with you. I kind of appreciate the story and the attempt here to build to the ref point. Aside from the distractions, the ref doing the old kick. MJF has got his arm out to help leverage a Sammy. I sometimes think Bryce Remsburg wants to be world champion, and he's like vouching for it. He's auditioning for it. Issa, your thoughts? Again, it's kind of predictable. It's what we thought, but I thought even if point B was predictable, how he got from A to B, still pretty compelling. I thought.
It was. I like the story to get here. I like that they didn't automatically make it a fatal 4-way after they came out on that one promo. I did think this match got a lot of time for such a predictable match. I think we got up almost 20 minutes into this, and I just feel like we know who's going to win. We know what the end is going to be like. That being said, very talented people. I feel like Sammy Guevara always does a move that just blows my mind how smooth it goes and how great he makes it. I don't know that. And I feel, we'll see where it goes. We have 3 weeks, like you said earlier. I don't know that this is doing anything for MJF as world champion right now.
Right.
I don't think it's made him. I'm not saying make him any less interesting, but it also has not made him any more interesting.
Well, I think that's a very fair statement. I guess I question what is the goal here? Is the goal here to try to elevate the other three? I don't.
But that's not what they're doing either. I told you that reaction to Jungle Boy coming out just blew my mind. The fact that the crowd was not into it,
Yeah. Yes. But now that we know that, sorry, Jimmy. But now that we know that all three of them are challenging now, and we have a couple weeks to go on that, there might be a chance now to again elevate all three of them
some
to get
character development.
Show me the backstory of Darby. As he's talked about how, he decided to join AEW and how he doesn't have any bidding war of 2024. He's not going to the other guys. He's here.
Right.
Jungle Boy, of course. Sammy. So I think there is a chance to try to recapture that, and that could be what gets accomplished here is that MJF.
Yeah, which is why I say, hey, we still have 3 weeks. Let's let it play out. Now that we have the match made, they can really play on their own and play for themselves and see where it goes. It's just that as of right now, I'm not sure anybody has come out of this looking better outside of Sammy Guevara in ring because he's done some crazy spots. I just don't feel character-wise anybody has looked any better as of yet. I'm still giving it time.
Yeah, Jimmy, they got a few weeks to build. I guess my thing, I'm really curious. I think a lot of, I know that we analyze this stuff deeper than maybe more people do because of what we do. But I think probably most AEW fans are probably pretty on par with us. I don't think many are like thinking MJF's going to drop this. I could be wrong, but so I guess I'm really curious too. They're going to have this be the main event. This is going to be what's going to anchor and finish Double or Nothing, a huge show for them. I'll be really curious how that match gets executed to still deliver to the fans with what's probably going to be a predictable ending, which is MJF retaining, but how they get there.
Exactly. That's going to be the question. The big question mark is how do they get there? And after watching tonight, as much as I was appreciated the story being told, there were little things in the match. You talk about someone like a Jungle Boy. Is he ready to be the face of the company right now? I don't think at this time he is, especially tonight. You mentioned how, that pop for him hasn't been what it used to be. And also at the same time, tonight he was kicking out of stuff that, my goodness.
God, they basically broke his neck and they,
Yes. And he was kicking out of everything. And I'm going, come on, guys, there's got to be a little bit of aura of believability here. At least have someone come in and make the save, make his partner come in and make the save or something, But, if you look at the 4 men in the match, Sammy Guevara, MJF, Jungle Boy, and Darby Allin, you maybe can make a little bit of a case for someone else. But other than MJF, he's more the face of the company right now than any of those 4 guys, in my opinion.
No, and again, like I said, I think that's where a lot of people kind of land here. It's MJF might drop the AEW title sometime this year, only because he's been so vocal about his contract situation, supposedly. But it ain't going to be in this, and it's not going to be to any of these 3, But it doesn't. But they're still trying. I got to commend them. That when we have said this for the theme tonight, there was some stories tonight that they are trying to stick with and give us some depth to, which is very much appreciated. So we'll see. So a couple more Dynamites until we get to Double or Nothing, then Forbidden Door quickly after that, and then it is all hands on deck as we approach All In at the end of August. So, and oh, by the way, a new show should be debuting somewhere in the mix there in January. And Where in the World is CM Punk, of course, is a non-stop watch. So,
he's backstage at Raw and Impact.
Impact, yeah.
He's playing.
He shaved his head.
He's playing Uno backstage at Impact. Apparently,
there you go.
There you go. So that is tonight's AEW Dynamite from Baltimore, Maryland. Orioles doing good, number 3 right now. I believe number 3 in the league. I believe ahead of what's that New York team? Division.
You say
Bronx.
something.
The Bronx
something,
team.
Justin LaBar. I can't hear you. You know, I think your internet is.
Am I muted? Am I muted? Do I need to? Okay. All right. Well, lots of stuff going on. Big things happen. Big things popping, little things stopping. All right. Again, at Justin LaBar is the handle. You can catch me on Friday mornings on Busted Up. I'll be back this week giving my official Backlash prediction. So tune into that Friday mornings. I'll be on with Dave LaGreca and Thunder Rosa. Isa, give all the plugs. You're going to be everywhere on the island of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, follow me on social media, NYC Demon Diva, pretty much across all platforms. On my TikTok, I'm interviewing random Puerto Ricans on the street, and I'm asking them if they're Team Bad Bunny, Team Damian Priest. I'm having a blast with that, so go follow me over there. You'll see all the coverage from Backlash on Lucha Libre Online, on my own socials, and I think I might be doing something for our socials here at Wrestling Geek. So just stay tuned. I'm everywhere. I do it all. I just don't sleep. That's all.
She is a Jacqueline of all trades. Jimmy, give me the plugs.
Well, you can catch me here usually on Mondays and Wednesdays, talking to you guys on Wednesdays, and Triple J usually on Mondays. And looking forward to this weekend to see what happens, and hopefully see Issa on my TV. You never know. You never know. And you could catch the Reffing It Up podcast as well. It drops every Wednesday with my good brother in stripes, Brian Hebner, and our host RJ. And this week we brought in a third referee. The old heel referee, Dangerous Danny Davis, is our guest, and we talk about a lot of old school stuff.
Very good, very good. A lot of love for the Hebner fan. A lot of love for Brian Hebner. He's a fellow Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders football fan. Yeah. So a lot of love there. So yeah, check out the podcast with Jimmy and crew. A lot of good stuff there each week because they have different guests. Again, Wrestling Inc. podcast. Like, subscribe. Leave a comment, leave a rating, whatever the platform calls upon. We appreciate it. It really helps as we continue through this year. Lots of stuff trying to grow here with the podcast. So anything you can do in leaving some support or comments is greatly appreciated. And Wrestling Inc. Podcast almost every single night. I don't know if there's anything tomorrow night, but Friday, of course, SmackDown, and then Saturday Backlash, and then we get to Monday, it's Raw. So make sure you are subscribed, and that way you get that alert every time there's a new episode of this podcast from any rotation of the characters that we have on here. Big thanks to both of you. Always appreciate it. The Wednesday night Pink crew, always good. Thanks to all you in the live chat. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of you on the on demand. Again, tweet all of us. Let us know where are you at in the world checking out this podcast. It's appreciated. Be kind to each other. Be good. We'll see you next time here on the Wednesday Night Wrestling Podcast.